His experience. He's so smart. He have everything in a fighter, a complete fighter. He don't have power in the punches, but sometimes you don't need it. You know, when you that kind of fighter, you don't need it.
He knows distance well, and I don't think the other guys can like reach him or capitalize off of it.
Now, everybody's saying decision. Could a stoppage be on the table? Because you said like frustrate him.
Yeah, for sure. A stoppage is always in the works. These guys fighting with ounces on no head gear. Anything can happen in boxing. Just be himself. Be him. Don't listen to the crowd. Don't listen to these fans. Don't listen to these haters, these saying daughters. Just be him. Do what he do best, and that's one.
Is more of a fighter. Like he's a ring generalship. He's in there thinking. He's calm. He's having fun because Teofimo's been proving it before. And I gotta emphasize this. If someone can pull it off, it's definitely Teofimo Lopez. If Teofimo Lopez doesn't do it, I don't see who is gonna beat Shakur Stevenson.
So here's the deal with boxing insiders right now. They're saying Teofimo Lopez has what it takes to completely dismantle Shakur Stevenson. The reasoning comes down to Lopez's fight intelligence, lightning footwork, and relentless attacking mentality that could completely overwhelm Stevenson's technical but defensive game plan.
Coach Teofimo showed you that he can fight inside, he can fight outside. He would have the advantage of power in this fight. You know one thing that I love about this fight, Bud? Shakur's very athletic, very talented. So is Teofimo. He's more explosive with power, but Teofimo is very athletic. He is very talented. You got two athletic guys, two talented guys. Again, Teofimo I would favor with the power. This is going to be interesting.
When you break down the physical matchup, seasoned fighters and analysts keep coming back to the same thing. Teofimo's natural frame and raw power create serious problems, especially when you're dealing with someone as skilled but physically smaller as Shakur Stevenson.
But Teo's, he's a very special athlete, and as a competitor, he is one of those guys who saves his A game for a fellow elite opponent. That's when he really rises his game and shows us the Teofimo Lopez that everybody thought he was when he was a prospect. People used to look at him and say, oh, this guy is going to be the star in boxing. It didn't really play out that way, but every now and then he reminds us how special he is.
Yes. Teofimo is a two-division Ring Magazine champion. In both fights where he won the Ring Magazine championship, he was the underdog. 4-1 underdog against Lomachenko. People forget, Lomachenko was taking elite fighters in the lower divisions and they were quitting.
Yes.
He was beating them into some, they were like, I can't do this, right? And Teofimo beat him. Right, he outboxed him.
Yeah, he didn't do it by physically imposing himself on him.
He outboxed him. He outfought him. He had speed, power, and then again against Josh Taylor at junior welterweight, he was the underdog. So he saves his best for his biggest moments.
Lopez has been vocal about his strategy too. He's planning to turn this into a messy brawl and force toe-to-toe exchanges. His plan revolves around using that size and power at 140 to completely disrupt Stevenson's timing and connect with fight-ending shots. He's not looking for a drawn-out points battle.
Shakur is a very talented, skillful, technique fighter.
Yeah.
Can't take anything away from it. However, scared to get hit. Scared to get knocked out in front of the world, scared to get touched up in front of the world.
Are you saying that off of the last fight or just
in general?
In general.
In general.
Yeah.
In general. Me and Shakur sparred before. We did 3 rounds, and it was just light work and me trying to figure out his jab. Does he have a good jab? Yeah, he does. But once you pass his jab, it's game.
Yeah. Shane Mosley has serious concerns about what Stevenson is walking into. According to Mosley, Shakur might be making a massive error stepping up against someone this explosive at 140 pounds. It's not questioning Shakur's skills, but wondering how his frame will handle the added weight.
I don't think that, well, maybe, I mean, Shakur might show some different. If he has to go after Teofimo, he might show some different type of heart that we haven't seen, or different type of fighting we haven't seen, and vice versa. You know, whereas Teofimo's hitting him with different shots off the angle, that is kind of giving Shakur Stevenson trouble. We'll see about that. So we just don't know.
Yeah, the thing is I think people overlook of Teofimo is he can box when he wants to. Like, he's shown he has a slick style too when he wants to do that.
When he wants to do that. So if you have a slick style and you got power and you got the speed too, and you're fighting at 140. So let's see. I don't know if Shakur Stevenson is going to get slower moving up in weight or not, where Teofimo can hit him. Maybe he was really fast at 130, 26-30, maybe 35, but 40, you put on a little bit more weight. I think that he holds the weight probably really, really good, but you just don't know.
Veterans who've been through similar weight jumps are sounding the alarm. They're warning that Stevenson might look significantly more sluggish at 140. That razor-sharp movement and split-second reflexes that make him dominant could disappear, while Lopez is already proven at that weight with speed, power, and physicality, working in perfect harmony.
Let me put this scenario. What if it's the Teofimo that beat Lomachenko? What if that Teofimo shows up?
Like I said, at Lomachenko, it's a not easy fight. Teofimo was able to be in the ring with different type of fighters and figure it out. The fighters that Shakur Stevenson was in with, they couldn't figure it out or get close to figuring it out. Whereas Teofimo had to figure out that type of style, and Lomachenko is a hard fight to fight. So that's why this fight is so interesting. And for Shakur Stevenson to move up to 140 to fight him is definitely a hats off to him.
Do you have a favorite on paper in that fight at all, Shane?
I believe it's 50-50. It's a fight that I just have to sit down and watch and just want to see, like I said, who imposed their will on the other.
Andre Ward sees this coming down to the tiniest details when they actually step in there. Fight night execution, perfect timing, and peak conditioning will determine everything. At this elite level, the stylistic differences between them are razor thin.
I respect them both because Teo knows it's going to be a real fight. Shakur knows it's going to be a real fight. And I look at Shakur like a fighter who has a blank canvas. He's got the IQ, he got the experience, and the athleticism and the skill set where he can paint any type of picture he wants to on a blank canvas. When I look at Teofimo Lopez, he's almost that. He has a blank canvas, but he needs an outline on what to draw and what to paint inside the line. Now, every now and again, he'll go away from the outline that he has and he'll do something dope and you'll be like, oh, that was cool. That wasn't on the outline right there. But I don't think that he can create on the fly like a Shakur Stevenson. But what he does bring to the table and what Shakur does have to deal with is explosive power, quick twitch, muscles, and the type of punches that he likes to throw. And Teo doesn't have the foot game that Shakur has, but he's got a decent foot game.
Max Kellerman makes an interesting point about the pressure dynamics. Shakur walks in with everything on the line because of his technical reputation and perfect record. Teofimo gets to play the underdog role where expectations are lower, but the upside is massive. That makes this whole thing incredibly volatile and impossible to predict.
Where Shakur is fighting to protect that perfect record, to protect that kind of sense that he's the next guy. On the other hand, Teo is like he can fight with more abandon against Shakur because there's so much for him to gain. And if he loses, he's lost before. He's lost to Kambosos.
Ali Amalin Aji breaks it down simply. Shakur Stevenson possesses defensive abilities that put him in a special category that's nearly impossible to solve. But he also thinks that if Teofimo Lopez shows up at his absolute peak performance level, he's got the tools to shock everyone and take the victory.
Teofimo is at his most dangerous when he's counted out. And this is going to be one of those fights where he's going to be counted out. Because Shakur is looked at by and large as the guy who can dominate boxing in this generation, right? It's just a matter of him getting the opportunity. I myself have felt that he's the guy who could and should be dominating boxing if he gets the right matchups. But bro, This is one of the rare matchups, if not maybe the only matchup, where I feel like is a big threat here to Shakur. And then they would all come undone only because of this reason. Teofimo Lopez, we've seen him at his best, but he typically brings out his best characteristics when he's back into the wall and he's counted out. And he's going to be counted out in this fight. By and large, people are going to side with Shakur in this fight to win the fight because he's the more consistent fighter, he's the more class fighter overall, and he's just so damn good. There's just something about Teofimo, man. He brings out a different level and somehow supersedes that guy who is that damn good. I've seen it. We've seen it already. I'm not saying anything that anybody else hasn't already seen, okay? I'm just stipulating it. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know who wins this fight. Because again, your better head says Shakur, but then you think about, man, Teofimo. Again,
he's got the X factor.
What I just explained.
He's got the talent to
I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Shakur is extremely talented and could be the face of boxing as far as being that good and being that dominant, even though no matter how good you are. But this is one of the rare fights where you can get beat. And I don't ever want to hear any of you tank nut huggers that he fights one Uber driver after another. If Shakur Stevenson loses this fight, I don't ever want to hear any of you saying, oh, well, what about Shakur now? Tank this, tank that.
Lopez's explosive nature and knockout power definitely give him a legitimate path to victory. But he's going to have to solve Shakur Stevenson's world-class defensive system and constant movement. Those are the primary weapons Stevenson uses to control range, make opponents miss, and avoid the big shots that end fights.
Okay, with that being said, then what does Teo got to do to win?
He has to get Shakur up. How would I say this? I don't want to just make it seem like come across as if Shakur is novice, but the times that Shakur is putting himself against the ropes, this is the time that Teofimo is going to have to depend on his explosiveness. He's going to have to depend on his offset lead right hands. He's going to have, but even doing that, everything with Teo comes off his front foot, his explosiveness, his speed, everything. So it's almost like whenever the times he gets Shakur up against the rope, he got to pick his shots well, but then after that, he have to be ready to defend because with Shakur, the return is always coming. So he got to go into the offensive lane, but he have to go into it with good defense, which in my opinion, he really don't do that good when he's going into offense. He usually come in to an offense lane, like with his lead hand down, coming with head movement. But I just believe when you do get closer to Shakur, he's going to have to overload with work. He's going to have to really double up with one hand. He's going to have to use his feet, bust angles, things of that nature. So
Devin Haney has specific advice for how Teofimo Lopez needs to approach this challenge. He needs to be way more busy and aggressive from start to finish. Lopez definitely has the natural explosiveness and power to be dangerous, but his recent fights have shown inconsistent and calculated out. That approach lets a technical and mobile fighter like Stevenson take control of the tempo and flow. Since Stevenson thrives with movement, counterattacks, and range management, Lopez has to maintain constant punch output, apply relentless forward pressure, and create exchanges instead of hunting for perfect moments. Higher activity will mess up Stevenson's spacing and stop him from finding that defensive groove that usually shuts down aggressive fighters.
That's a great fight for boxing. I'm excited to see that. Styles make fights. I think Shakur is just a more superior boxer. I think that Teo is athletic and he has skills, but I see Shakur winning.
You think Teo, to win a fight like that, would have to be a little bit more active? It seems like he likes to throw one punch at a time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, he could be athletic, but I think he would just have to be, it would have to be a method to his madness for sure. I don't think athletic would just win.
Teofimo Lopez is being crystal clear about his mindset going in. He refuses to let Shakur Stevenson walk away. With the belt, he sacrificed everything to win. He talks about what that title really means, representing years of grinding, pain, and complete dedication to the sport. This fight means everything personal to Teofimo. It's about defending what he built through pure effort and determination. He carries himself with complete self-belief and refuses to back down from protecting his position. Lopez sees this as deeply personal, fueled by pride in the work he's put in. He's convinced that nobody can strip away something he earned through sacrifice, discipline, and total commitment.
Being in the ring, Shakur Stevenson.
Both fighters are positioned in Las Vegas right now, setting up for what's coming.
Hearing that you did link up today, a face-off happened between the two of you?
Yeah, face-off happened, things of that nature, just to create the things that are in motion already. So we're really adamant about fighting each other next, and I can't wait for us to really lace it up. And I see him across the ring, and really when that bell rings, lights out for him.
What's it like seeing him now kind of face to face? When you look at him, what do you see? Because obviously you're not locked in just yet, and the closer it gets to a fight, obviously things turn a little bit. But when you do look at Shakur, what do you think of him?
I think I don't think too much of it. I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it. I've bled for this. And I'm not taking nothing from him. But I just believe that what's gonna happen next is for destiny in the boxing ring to decide. Let the people really see what it was and has always been: the best fighting the best, and the winner becomes the man or the woman.
Yeah. Fighting Shakur Stevenson, he is an exceptional fighter. He comes under a lot of criticism, though, for his style of fighting. Some people describe him as a boring fighter. How do you think the fight between you two will play out, and what do you think needs to happen to negate people saying that about that fight?
No, that's a thoughtful question. Honestly, it's a real nice assessment to see how everyone looks at a certain fighter, right? And I think that holds on to Shakur Stevenson when people say he's boring or he's not as entertaining. And I think that with a fighter like himself, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's undefeated for a reason. Maybe some people don't like it, but this is why the takeover is here. To make it at least fun and make it great, and do what I can to engage on that. Now, how do we do that? Well, you guys got to tune in.
Bruce Carrington, who knows the sport from multiple angles as both analyst and fighter, points to a critical flaw in Teofimo Lopez's game when facing Shakur Stevenson. The issue is handling constant movement and precise distance management. Lopez brings incredible athleticism, explosive power, and serious knockout ability to the table. But Carrington points out his past struggles against opponents who continuously shift angles and refuse to stay in predictable spots. Stevenson's calmness, strategic thinking, and distance control could take advantage of this problem, making Lopez overextend himself, miss opportunities, or lose his composure when he can't trap Stevenson in one place. Carrington thinks that if Stevenson controls the pace and keeps his disciplined movement going, he can completely neutralize Lopez's power and force Lopez to fight Stevenson's fight instead of implementing his own aggressive approach.
I feel like Teo is going to bring the fight. He's very athletic. He has a lot of explosiveness, but I do feel like when it comes to Shakur, bro, his movement may frustrate him. The only thing that worries me when it comes to Teofimo is his frustration. Like, is he going to be able to work well with a mover? We've seen, difficulties that he had with Sandor Martin. We've seen the difficulties that he had with Jimmy Ortiz, guys that's been moving around and not staying still. Like, if you keep Teo moving around and he can't plant his feet, what can he do? We're going to have to find that out on, January 31st. And I think Shakur, he's probably one of the best guys to, move his feet, be on defense, being hella patient and frustrating a fighter, bro. Like, so we got to see what his mentality is going to be like come January 31st.
Do you think that his experience on the biggest of stages, his two biggest wins, he was an underdog. And both guys, ironically enough, were southpaws like Shakur. That play any factor to you, man?
Nah, styles is different. The styles are totally different. Lomachenko don't fight like Shakur. Josh Taylor don't fight like Shakur. Like I don't see, just because southpaw, that same thing will happen. I feel like certain techniques could be used to fight Shakur, yeah. But in terms of like that approach of the fight, nah. Like, Shakur fights totally different. You got to be able to do some out-of-pocket stuff with Shakur. You got to throw while he's throwing. That's probably some of the only times that he's able to get hit. Only time he's open. So,
Greg Hackett offers a measured but definitive take on this Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez showdown. His prediction favors Shakur taking it on the cards based on his discipline, fight intelligence, and ability to dictate contests. But he's quick to emphasize that boxing doesn't follow scripts and Teofimo can't be counted out. Hackett acknowledges situations where Teofimo's explosive ability, perfect timing, or pure determination could flip everything in one instant. However, Shakur's reliability and preparation impress him as the key elements. He thinks Shakur recognizes the danger Teofimo represents and will prepare more intensely than ever before, since this represents a career-defining moment for both men. When two elite fighters collide at their prime, Hackett sees this as a clash where excellence demands excellence and any outcome remains possible.
Yeah, my first mind told me Shakur, and I thought about it. Yeah, I'm picking Shakur by decision, but because this is fighting, anything can happen. You can't count Tio out. So there is thoughts sometimes that cross my brain, like, damn, what if Tio catch him like real good though? You know what I mean? And hurt him, or what if he just out hustling? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a lot of shit across my mind, but I still like Shakur for the dub. I like Shakur for the dub because he knows how to win. Like, he knows how to win. You know what I'm saying? And he's always prepared to win. So, and I think Shakur respects Tio to the point where he gonna train like he's never trained before. Because this is a great fight for him. This is probably the best fight of his career. When you put Magic and Bird together, it happens. You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of situation it is. Magic Johnson was nice, but Larry Bird was nice. You put them together, you get a nice game. You know what I mean? So you put these two together, you get a nice fight.
Is this one of the fights that we're going to remember historically? Like, is this a, you know,
it's, to go back and
it's
study.
19, it's 19, when did Leonard and Hearn's first fight? Is this one of them?
That shit was like 87 or some shit. Yeah.
It's 19.
Like 87 or something. 86,
No, it had to be earlier than that, right?
84 maybe.
One? Yeah, like
I don't know, because he was in the 76 Olympics. Well, no, 70.
Wasn't it 78?
No, they ain't fighting 78. Mm-mm.
No, I'm saying 78 Olympics. Wasn't he?
Probably 78 or some shit.
Teofimo Lopez delivers explosive power, physical advantages, and constant forward pressure. He's proven he can damage opponents who stick around and exchange punches. But many experts highlight his difficulties with fighters who continuously disrupt his rhythm through movement and angle switching. Shakur Stevenson excels at distance management, fluid footwork, and precise timing. These are the exact tools he uses to frustrate aggressive fighters and stay out of danger. If Stevenson keeps Lopez constantly adjusting, switches levels and angles consistently, and makes Lopez restart his offense over and over again, Lopez might connect less frequently and grow increasingly frustrated. Stevenson's patience, spatial awareness, and tactical approach could neutralize Lopez's power completely and prevent Lopez from imposing his preferred style.
I think Shakur Stevenson can win this on points, Spencer, but he's going to have to be at his very, very best. As we look at these images of the two men, this is the fight that ignites the American market this year. It's obviously got the backing of Turki Al Sheikh, Ring Magazine. The key for me is, can Shakur be big enough to withstand what Tio is going to bring physically as well as psychologically and technically in this fight?
Absolutely, and that's the fascination surrounding this fight. You look at this one and you say, Shakur Stevenson, if he can step up another weight division and become 4-weight world champion, this is his chance now to become that superstar, that all-time great. You know, not just a generational great, but an all-time great. And I've really believed that. Like I've always said, Shakur Stevenson for me will emerge as this great fighter, and I think this is his fight right now. I think that he wins this fight as well.
Teofimo Lopez thinks Shakur Stevenson took this fight to make a statement. He argues that Stevenson got motivated by Terence Crawford's shocking victory over Canelo Alvarez and now wants his own moment by defeating Lopez. Lopez believes Stevenson ran out of quality opponents at 140 and views this bout as Stevenson's opportunity to prove his elite status after witnessing someone in his circle achieve a legendary boxing accomplishment. Lopez is also confident he'll reveal weaknesses in Stevenson's defense, suggesting that Stevenson's drive comes from proving himself as much as chasing championship glory.
I believe in me before anybody else believed in me. Shakur is stepping up because he got nobody else to go after. He's stepping up to try to prove a point. You know, his big bro, aka Terrence Bud Crawford, you know, put a huge upset and made a historical moment in time. I think those things like that make Shakur want to step up the plate, step up to the challenge, and face Teofimo. Who is I? I mean, we were stablemates, me and Shakur, top rank. He talks about this and that and about I was jealous of him. No, I'm not. You were a 2016 USA silver medalist. You're going to get your signing bonus and all that extra stuff. Thing was, they were trying to secure him in a different route because they had put a lot of money in him. Me, I think I was just supposed to be an opponent eventually. I'm possessively obsessed with this. That's why they call me crazy. It's all right.
Robert Garcia, the elite trainer behind fighters like Virgil Ortiz Jr., has gone public with his prediction for the Stevenson versus Lopez battle. Despite recognizing that Shakur Stevenson holds technical advantages as a pure boxer, Garcia is backing Teofimo Lopez to win this contest. His choice isn't based on Lopez being the better overall fighter, but Garcia respects Lopez's mindset, fighting heart, and warrior mentality. Garcia believes Lopez's self-confidence, mental toughness, and ability to throw power shots under intense pressure could be the deciding factors, particularly if he maintains focus and delivers his peak performance. In Garcia's view, this contest comes down to whoever executes their strategy and keeps their composure when the lights are brightest.
Teofimo has had some great performances, great wins. Shakur is also a 3 division champion, going for his 4th. You know, unbelievable talent. It's a fight where you know we're gonna see talent from both, but we also have to see heart. That who has that heart to become the man. You know, I think that fight's gonna be more about who's smarter, who plays the better cards, and who doesn't make mistakes. Because it's gonna be one of those fights where we might not have too much action, but we're all gonna be standing up because we want to see who's gonna land and who's gonna be the one that finds those punches to land. It's a very interesting fight, and they're both in their prime. They're both, you know, that's what boxing is about.
So what's your take on what happens when Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson finally face off? Drop your prediction in the comments below.